Good evening. Time for some guitar. I'm going to go post our link over on our website. Website is denverguitarorchestra.com. And if I post the link to join right here, then everybody will come join us. So hold on one second and let me get this all put up on the site. And we're going to start here momentarily. I got to update our playlist. Oops. Come on. All right. Looks like I'm in. Looks like I'm blurry. Why would that be? I guess I'm not blurry. Maybe I look blurry. All right. Sandy's in. Good evening, Sandy. All right. Things are taking their sweet time here. Hold on one second. Hold on. And Trumpet Voluntary. That's right. Okay, so sorry, I am madly updating the website as I'm talking. All right, Vic is in. Sound is good. Sunny up. A couple of days of sun, huh, Vic? I guess the sun's about to end for everybody, but we had a beautiful day here too, so we'll take it, won't we? All right, so let's get going. Only take us a little bit to run through book 1 and book 2 tonight because they're pretty straightforward, and then we will play some fancier stuff. DenverGuitarOrchestra.com. Did I spell that right? DenverGuitarOrchestra.com. Click here. Guitar. DGO. Open. Tweet. Whoops. Save. And tweet. Alright, so that's done. Okay, getting a little bit of a hectic start here. Let's see. Extreme's bitrate is lower than recommended bitrate. We recommend that you use a stream. I don't know. I'm getting a weird sign that says I'm not giving enough internet. Hopefully I look okay to you. From time to time this pops up. I have never figured out why. Linda has decided to spend time with company rather than play her guitar. Guys, what do we think of that? All right, book 1. Let's grab that stuff. Hey, tonight I was one of the things I do every time we go through this is I rush through Farmer in the Dell and Row Your Boat, and I don't know why I do that. And we need to. Those 2 songs are surprisingly important for your life in book 2, and so I do want to spend just a minute replaying both Farmer in the Dell and Row Your Boat, and then we will move on to book 2. Okay, so grab Farmer in the Dell first. And we'll play it all 3 ways. First the chords, then the melody, and then the chord melody. And that way we've gotten a chance to really dig into what chord melody is all about. So first of all, A chord, right? Well, first of all, I got to double check I'm in tune. I've been playing the other guitar. So let's see how close this one is. E, A, D, G, B, Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Good, Bye, Eddie. Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Goodbye, Eddie. Farmer in the Dell was sing the first verse together. Okay, think about using your claw and your thumb on the A string and these 3 fingers on the bottom 3 strings. So they're going to come up, thumb comes down, like that. Okay? 1, 2. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell, hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Okay, A chord's one of our more cooperative chords for early on when you're playing, trying to find chords that don't make your life sad. A is usually one of those. Biggest thing, just make sure you stay off of the bottom string. It's easy for if you're coming in at a weird angle to get a dead string there. So just make sure your fingers are standing up nice. And that's always important because you got to make sure your guitar's in the right position, your arm's in the right position, your fingers are in the right position. Everything else will work itself out. All right, let's play the melody. Remember, we play the melody on this one by anchoring these 2 fingers, and we play the melody just with your ring finger. Okay? So anchor those 2 fingers where they belong in the A chord, and then we will move this ring finger around as we need to. From the top, 1, 2. Just that basic stuff there. These 2 fingers never left, and any notes that I needed to make, I either had to push this down, pick it up, or in one case I had to put it on the 1st string on the 2nd fret. You want to be able to do that while holding this chord, because guess what happens in the next way of playing. Okay, let's go and play the tough axe line. Okay, and just remember, when your thumb is coming down, you stop, and on the string you're not going to play, and let your thumb rest there. Okay, so from the top, 1, 2. The reason I like to, that's so smooth and so perfect in every way in learning to get all of the things you need necessary to play tough axe at higher levels, right? So we're learning to keep this chord planted. We're learning to play the notes as necessary by modifying this chord. We're learning rest stroke by bringing this down and just hitting the strings we need to hit. Those of you guys who have been around a while, you know that you should probably on every song play it thumb down just to make sure you know how the song goes, but then take time to go back and play it with your claw. So those of you guys that have been doing that, let's play that together. Finger picking the entire thing. 1, 2. Different feeling and flavor to the overall structure of the song, and so you want to be able to play both with your thumb and with your claw. Both of those come up in finger style. We do a little bit more with thumb. In classical, we do a little bit more with finger style, or plucking, I guess I should say, claw style. And so always be working on both systems. That way you can feel like, hey, you know what? I can play any single song Gary hands out. I'm going to be fine on. Let's see. Can hear and see you fine. Okay, good. Video is good. Okay, I don't know. It gives me this weird note. You're not giving... Your current stream bit rate is something, and it's lower than the recommended bit rate. I don't know how to fix a bit rate. Yago, what are you doing? How are you? In from Southern California. Good to have you. All right. So, that's your Farmer in the Dell. Not the greatest song in the world, but definitely the greatest introduction to fingerstyle play. Then you had this week, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So this will be, I'm gonna have you stay on Row, Row, Row Your Boat for this week. You've just finished this week, and then next week as well. And then we'll dig into Three Blind Mice the week after. Three Blind Mice, by the way, is not a Tough Axe song. It is way too hard on Tough Axe, but it does. We will talk about it. But I want you just to work on Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I like Row, Row, Row Your Boat to be smooth as silk when going into Three Blind Mice. So this will be your song for the week. Let's talk about the chord again. Index, middle, and ring. Make sure your index finger's on top, middle finger's on the first string. Ring is out here, second fret, third string. Third fret, second string. Did I say that? That's what I said. Okay. With D chord, we don't want to hit the top string ever. It's because that's an E note and it's going to sound terrible. But if you accidentally hit the fifth string, it's fine. Best to hit just four strings, 4, 3, 2, and 1, which is nice for us because we got 4 fingers we typically play with. Place those down here. Thumb on the fourth string, index finger underneath the third string, middle finger underneath the second string, and ring finger underneath the first string. You got that. Okay. Now. Let's do the chords first. Okay, 1, 2, ready, play. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now change your pattern. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand up and rock the boat, oh, that's a big mistake. And then finally with your index finger, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So between those 3 ways of playing plus the thumb down, that's really the 4 main concepts with your right hand. One is thumb down, row, row, row your boat. One is index finger up and down, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Okay, one is 4-finger plucking, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. And then the other way is arpeggio picking. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. And you want to be in control of your right hand. Because you can get control of it fairly quickly, and then that's never going to, those 4 main concepts are never really going to change. That's, if we can get control of your hand where every single song you can tackle it in that way, then anytime that shows up in a chord melody progression where you've got a little bit of a strumming pattern or a little bit of an arpeggio picking thing, your hands are going to be already ready for it. So don't neglect your study of your right hand, especially in this book 1 stuff. It's perfect because you don't have to worry about changing chords. You're really focused in on getting your right hand put together. I think of all of the things that I feel like I do pretty well, right hand is where I think I'd have my best luck. I think actually, they've been, over at school, they've been teaching me some other methods that to do with your right hand, and it's amazing how something as simple as taking this arpeggio pattern, thumb, index, middle, ring, and then saying, you know what, let's just use these 2 fingers on one string. It's the same concept, and if you've got a decent amount of background in it, pretty soon it's not terribly difficult to control them. You still have to practice it, But you know, there are lots of, in classical music in particular, this I am business. They use a lot of that to their detriment in some cases, but in a lot of cases it makes you super fast if you get really adept at that. So all of the systems, the four main things that I want you to work on will lead you to all of those other things that are really just subsets of arpeggio picking. All right, melody. Let's make this melody happen. Remember, when the 10 comes up, I gotta figure out which. Fine, this I'm not used to the dots on this guitar. That's a 9. So when the 10 comes up, cover both string 1 and 2 with this. That way you don't have to move anything here, and you can focus in on getting clean tones out of your 10s. Okay, and then you'll jump back. Probably best to play this one in second position from the top. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 3, 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 2, 0, 3. Okay? All right, so hopefully that's coming along pretty well. The key with this song is 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, but that's not really the key. The real key is, hey, I'm going to play some stuff down here, then I'm going to jump up here and play some stuff, and then I'm going to jump back here. That's something that you will be doing on guitar. Not so much in Book 2. Book 2 is pretty much you're hanging out in first position, but in all of the subsequent songs in Books 3 and 4, you're going to be all over the fretboard, and certainly those of you guys that are doing orchestra, you know some of that stuff. They're going up to 15, 13, 14, 15. They're playing those notes. Over at school, William has a piece where he's got to get these two. All right, I don't even know how he does that, and he has to do it fast. So the idea here is lots and lots of back and forth, up and down the neck. Rhody gives you a nice introduction to that. All right, let's go play the tough acts now, nice and slow. You've had the week for it, so let's just play it through once, and then let's go through and talk about afterwards where I want you to focus in on the week. Okay, so from the top, nice and slow. 1, 2. So if I'm looking at this from trying to be smooth, the first part is not terribly difficult. I've got just my D chord. All I'm going to have to do is raise my middle finger. So let's start those first two measures, pretty straightforward. D, 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 O, and then right back down. Okay. Next measure is this basically the same, except now I'm going to add my 3 on at the end of measure 3. D, O, D, 3. Now here's where things are challenging. I'm playing a smaller guitar, so I am physically able to reach up to get my 5. Okay? If it was a bigger guitar, I'd really struggle with that. And in that case, I would take my D and break it apart, move my middle finger here, and then drop my pinky here. And now I've got the notes held down. I've had to readjust this chord, and he's hanging out doing nothing, but then you can reach it more easily. Okay, down measure 5. Big key here is get your 10s on just like you did playing melody, but now you're going to also add your middle finger on up here, 11th fret, 3rd string, and you go 10, 10, 10. Or what I did this time was I took these two fingers, middle and thumb and index, and plucked them that way. You can also strum them. I think that's a little harder. You can also use these two fingers, index and middle. All of those would be good choices, good things to try. See which you can get the cleanest sound out of. Now, I did want to point out, if you put the 12 on here, you don't have to go racing back. Yes, you do. Never mind. I had one student send me an email and says, "Hey, I've figured out how to use the 12th up here, and it works. It actually works pretty slick. But don't do that. That creates a different problem altogether. So 10, 10, 10, 10, and now the big key is once you hit this note, you want to make sure that it rings out for a sec before you jump down and grab your D's down here. Now that measure 6 is easy because once you got your D chord on, you can do the whole chord or the whole measure. Okay, and now you have the same problem with that 5 again. Possibly tear your D chord apart, make your 5, then put it back together quickly and bring your pinky in. And then lose the pinky, lose your middle finger, and then don't forget your decorative notes. Those decorative notes aren't there to be decorative. Those decorative notes are there to make sure that you're counting your time properly. And so they're there to help you not come in early on the next measure. And so a lot of times you'll see in most arrangements, and certainly all of my arrangements, when there's a long note, I'm usually sticking in decoration in there just to help you count your way through the measure. All right, so for the week, another week on Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and then we'll dig into Three Blind Mice next week. But I would say spend the time, if you're in Book 1, doing Row, Row Your Boat and Farmer in the Dell, just to continue to get your hands used to this idea of, hey, I'm going to hold a chord, and I'm going to make some modifications to it. With Row, Row Your Boat, you're not making that many modifications to the D chord. Once in a while, you're lifting up your middle finger. Once in a while, you're adding your pinky on 3, and sometimes you're having to stretch this thing out to 5. But that's the only modifications you're making to this one down here. And this one, of course, once you get it on, you don't modify it at all. So what you're thinking about for chord melody is I'm going to put the chord on and then I'm going to modify it however the melody requires me to modify it. And once you get that in your head, like, okay, put the chord on, figure out what I have to do. Put the next chord on, figure out what I have to do. That will take you all the rest of the way into Book 4 because it never changes. It's always in fingerstyle. That's always how everything is. It changes a tiny bit in classical because in classical we don't focus about the chord, and frankly the chords are too weird most of the time to even really think about like that. So we have a much greater tendency to be thinking just here's a position. Put some fingers on, add fingers, take fingers off, move to your next position. So it's less about the chord name and the chord shape than it is about figuring out moment by moment in the song which position you're supposed to be in. All right, there's Book 1. One more week on those 2 songs just to make sure we're really solid on them. We'll grab Three Blind Mice next week. Then let's go on to Book 2, Drunken Sailor. And I'm pretty sure I spent about an hour and a half on Drunken Sailor with you guys last week. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. The real point of Drunken Sailor was to talk about transposing the song. So if what I want to do first, grab your A minor and your G. A minor here, G here. Back to A minor. These are the chords that fit my voice the best, and then we'll do the other chords as well. Okay, just one time through on this set of chords, and just as written and singing. Okay, if you're at home, sing like you're a nightingale. 1, 2, ready, go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, early in the morning. Okay, I messed up the last arpeggio. All right, so I did claw, then I did arpeggio plucking, just because choosing one way of doing it in the verse and a different way in the chorus is pretty smart music, right? That's pretty smart playing. That way your song doesn't feel like I'm just doing the same regular 4-beat strum all the way through it, like as often happens in folk music. All right. Next then is the D minor and the C. So we want you to know these chords. These chords are coming up in your life. Okay. D minor, index, middle, ring. Okay. And it's going to go up to the C chord. So the easy thing to do here is these two guys go up, and then you bring your ring finger all the way up there. And then back to your D minor. You can kind of see why the guitar is tuned the way it is. That makes a lot of sense, right? Here's two chords that go together, and they're pretty easy to get to. Okay, and you'll find out a lot. There are a few keys that it doesn't work on. G to D7 is one of those, but for the most part, a lot of the chords would be really convenient to each other. Okay, let's do D minor and C. Let's do chuck him in bed with the captain's daughter. Okay, 1, 2, ready, play. Chuck him in bed with the captain's daughter. Chuck him in bed with the captain's daughter. Chuck him in bed with the captain's daughter. Early in the morn. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up rises, hooray, and up she rises early in the morning. I missed that ending too. Okay. All right, so maybe that's easier on your voice, maybe not. For me, I think that A minor and G fits my voice a little better, but that one wasn't terrible. All right, next one, E minor. Best chord in the world. Okay, and then you're going to go to D. Okay, and remember, when you go to D, don't hit the top string. Okay, because that's an E, and it's going to sound terrible up against the D. Okay, so let's go with E minor. Ready and play. And what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Whoa. Oh, I keep messing it up. Let's do early in the morning. Ready? And from E minor, no, from D. Early in the morning. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises early in the morning. Okay, so all those give you a different feeling to it, and it depends on your personal singing voice which of those sets of chords you would prefer. Last one we talked about, we won't play through this one completely, but put your bar on 1 and a major minor shape in front of it. So your E minor, okay, E minor in middle, ring, and pinky in your A minor position, and then slide it up with the bar. Okay, and now from that position, all you got to do is slide up to 4, and then this entire group of fingers, everybody moves up a string. Okay, and then you go back, slide back, drop these down. Now your goal, of course, is not to have that sound. I mean, it doesn't sound very much when you use your bar, but this, right? We kind of want to avoid that. And just let up on your fingers, and you'll be able to slide with a lot less noise. Okay, try not to make that noise. It's kind of ugly. Yeah, it's fine. That's how you know you're listening to live music. In recordings, they take that out. All right, let's just try a little bit of it. Just the verse. How about that? And let's do cover his backside with mustard and with mustard. Cover his. No, I don't like that one. Give him a dose of the salt and water. Let's do that one. Number 9. 1, 2, ready, go. Give him a dose of the salt then water. Give him a dose of the salt, then water. Give him a dose of the salt and water. Lie in the morning. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, she rises early in the morning. I said I wasn't going to do the whole thing, and then I did. And you notice a lot of times I'm fighting my fingers a little bit. You getting that? Don't think that's a thing, right? It's just the way you're playing it at the moment. If you're getting dead sounds, just keep working on it, staring at your fingers, and eventually getting them in the right place so that you will keep playing. In the meantime, you're just keeping the beat and keeping a little bit of percussion going. And if it's not exactly right, that's okay. Don't freak out. Just keep working on getting your fingers where they need to be. Oh, that does it right. There it is. Right, especially when you're arpeggio picking, really easy to get some clunk clunk clunks in there. And I don't lose any sleep over it. Obviously, on a song that you care about and you spend a lot of time on, more likely to get it right. I don't think we need to play the melody here, but I do want to run through the chord melody on here, so the tough acts. Because as you know, listening to me sing is never good. And so let's just make sure you know how to do it. If the guitar is going to be, if you're a worse singer than I am, you need the guitar to do it, right? So grab your A minor, and then we'll just play what's written on the first page. Drunken Sailor. 1, 2, ready, play. E minor because we've been working on E minor when it's A minor is what I needed. All right, yeah, there's not a ton of song there from a tough acts perspective. The real purpose of this in your book is to get you thinking about transposing songs. Every single song in this book can be transposed into other keys, and once you learn that system of, hey, all right, these two chords are related in this way, so let me go find some other chords that are related in the same way, and then we can toss those in. All right. Go Tell Aunt Rhody. Go Tell Aunt Rhody is my neighbor who is 95 down the end of the hall. It's her favorite American song, so it's in the book now. And there's not a ton of music here. However, the one thing that is in here is a lot of C chord going to G chord, and that's something that we all have to work on. It's definitely my challenging set of chords. And then to G, and then back to C. And we've seen this before in one of the other songs, but this is a chance to practice it a little bit more. Okay, so let's do the chords. Probably there's a good chance you know this tune, but if you don't, this would be a great time for you to get it figured out. It's super sad. It's about a goose and her children are dead, and it's about a goose. She's dead and her children are still alive. So it's the exact kind of song you'd want to teach children. All right, from the top, just the chords. 1, 2, ready, play. Go tell Aunt Rhody, oh, go tell Aunt Rhody, oh, go tell Aunt Rhody, the old gray goose is dead. And then you repeat it 4 times. Okay, so I think trying to get that as smooth and as clean as you can is a goal for sure. C, the key of C with its friend G. C here, G here. They're going to be hanging out together every single time you play a song. If there's some C's in there, there's almost certainly going to be some G's in there. All right, next then would be the melody. So let's play the melody. Nothing to the melody here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, oh, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, oh, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, oh, 1. Okay. Yeah, that's all I know about that song. So easy melody to play, right? At book 2 level. Book 1, this would be a challenging piece that they have to play, but on this level, not so bad. Then let's talk tough acts. Okay. C chord. Okay. First one's all 5 strings, so you can just strum straight down. Go, and then hit the 0 again. Tell, you got to use your pinky on that 3, and then lift it up. Row. D, O, you're already holding those down. Now you have to switch to G. You have a choice. You can go to your full G and put your ring finger here, which works just fine. But you know, you're hanging out in C chord and your pinky is already where it needs to be. So maybe the key would be put your pinky down and just raise these 2 guys up. Now you've got our alternate G chord shape on, and you're going to be just fine with that, using that. Go, tell, and then your index finger is available to get. And then go right back to your C chord. Rhody, oh, pinky on the top string. Go, tell, and. Okay, and I just move my index finger down and then right back up. Rhody, the alternate G shape. Oh, great. You need that because of the 1, and then the 3. Goose. And then drop your C chord back on. Dead. Here's your arpeggio pattern to O. The 1 she's been saving. The 1 she's been saving. The 1 she's been saving. Make her feather bed. More arpeggio. Okay, and then just this nice little pleasant thing. I think ALT. The nice part of it is a very pretty little melody for nothing more than it is in it. And I mean, there's nothing to the song, right? There's no musical theory thing that we need to really discuss overly. Maybe the dotted quarter note in measure 4 is about the most exciting thing that happens in the song. But very simple melody, really straightforward chords, and you end up with this actually quite pleasant rendition. And if you take and put all of your skill set together, you can turn it into quite a nice piece of music. So maybe put in a few extra decorative notes in there or something. Try to jazz it up. Okay, go switch to your bar chords. Oh, Dell and Rhody. So work on that one this week. It's really fun. It's a really pretty little tune. And it's from Jean-Jacques Rousseau, 1752. I don't think the words are changed for the American audience, of course. Le Devin du Village was the original song. I should look up the words about that, what that one was about. All right, there's book 2. Let's go grab book 3. This Little Light of Mine is what we were working on this week. Hopefully I had a chance to play through it. Book 3. RS. I know I haven't. Come here. It's not going to cooperate. Really? Turn this off. Go here. PQRST. Add. Not going to let me add the song. It said, nope, you may not do any more. This little light of mine. I know how to get to it. Let's go here, here, to this little light of mine, guitar. Okay. We talked about this last week. I grew up in a church that was sort of right-wing crazy, and we didn't ever have anything. We had no jazz chords, right? And but this piece, arranged it with some minor sevenths in it just to jazz it up a little bit, and so it ends up actually being a little bit different than the song that I grew up with. Same words, same melody, more or less, but the chord structure is a little more interesting, and so it's actually kind of a nice, can end up being kind of a nice change over what you might have typically heard. Some of you didn't grow up in church or whatever and didn't have to deal with this, but this is one of these songs that gets used for non-religious purposes a lot, right? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So it's a handy tune. Let's put it that way. Let's do some chords. G chord. Your A minor 7 is your C chord without your ring finger. Right? It sounds cool, doesn't it? Man, try for sure. Well, because it's an A minor 7, you really, with that open 5th string, you really want to emphasize that. Right? Doesn't that sound cool? And then you got more G chord. Then you got your C chord, A minor 7, okay, and that's it. Oh no, there's a B chord down at measure 11. You're going to be on the 4th fret, pinky up on 7. I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, all right. So nice and slow. See if you make it soft and pretty. 1, 2, ready, go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Too high for my voice. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Here's your B chord. I'm gonna let it shine, let it A7 shine, let it shine. And then you're gonna do the turnaround is just a D7. Okay? Can you hear that? You're gonna be like, I can't end this song on that, so I've got to go back to something else. And we're gonna turn around and go back up to the top, and then go ahead and grab just the melody. Okay, you play the melody, I'll play the chords. 2 and 1, 2, ready, go. This little light of mine, 2, 3, 4, 7, 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, oh, 3, oh, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, oh, 3, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4, 7, 7, 6, 7, 5, 3, 3, 5, 7, 8, 7, 5, 7, 5, 3. Okay. I'll play the melody with you this time. Melody together. Ready, play. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. if I hit the D7, then you have to go again, right? And so last time through, let's play the tough axe, see how we do. 1, 2, ready, play. Sorry. Whoops, where am I? Bar chord. Bar chord. And then your high G7, high D7, and then let's finish up. Go to the very end. Put your fancy G chord on. Okay, so we played it enough times to get the most of that you could get out of that thing, right? I'd say not exactly easy to play, right? Because you've got this G chord. Now you have to get to A minor 7 plus a 3. And then immediately go up here to this 5 and then pull it back to your G chord. Probably going to run my pinky up and down on that string because it'll end up with a little bit of swooshing in there. It'll sound kind of cool. And then I think the one that surprises me every single time, I always forget to talk about it, measure 14. That A7, which you play in an open position when you're singing. But on this one, because there's a melody note underneath it, you got to play the bar 5, pinky or middle finger on 6. Let it shine. This light is a workout. All right, so Vic says she'd like to play it one more time, a little bit more slowly, is what she just said. So let's do it. Okay, I could use it one more time as well. All right, very slow. Take your time. 1, 2, ready, play. Strum, oh, 3, strum, oh, G chord, strum, oh, 3, go grab a 7, strum, 6, strum, 5, G chord, strum, oh, 3, C chord, strum, 3, strum, 5, A7, A minor 7, strum, 2, 1, G chord, strum, 3, chord, strum, G chord, arpeggio. Bar on 5, middle on 6, 7, 5, G chord, arpeggio, high D7, arpeggio, G chord. Alright, so it's a good song, you guys. Work on that one. That's totally a good song. Alright, so that'll be the end of that one for our regular play. We'll see it again in however many weeks. Trumpet Voluntary. Now here's a new one that not necessarily all of you have ran into in your life. And so let's talk about, oops, let me reload this page. Let's talk about Trumpet Voluntary, because some of you will be like, what is this? I have never heard this song before. How come that didn't update? I didn't hit update. This is why. Sorry. You might need to go back over to the website because I forgot to hit update. I got it partly updated and then not. All right, let me reload the website and make sure it's working right. There it is. All right, Trumpet Voluntary. All right, let's go grab that and put it over where it's supposed to be. This is a wedding song from the olden times, and I bought a book the other day. I don't buy too many books anymore because I always end up having to rewrite everything anyway, so I might as well just start with writing it in the first place. But I was lured in by Amazon. I think you might need this book of guitar solos for weddings, and I was like, yeah, I think I probably do. And then it came, and I'm like, I already have all these songs. I should probably be a little more conscientious consumer. But in that book of wedding songs from is Trumpet Voluntary. And so that's where you will have heard this song if you've heard it at all. It's really the Prince of Denmark Waltz or something like that, March. But the only play kind of old-fashioned weddings you've used this. And so let's see if we can make some sense of it. First off, chords are straightforward, right? You got D chord, A chord. And it already sounds fancy, doesn't it? And then on the first page, you also have your E7. Okay, so these are all book 1 chords. Page 2, I don't think has anything else either. Yeah, so it's just A, D, and E7. So they're all book 1 chords. Remember, E7 is just your E chord with your ring finger lifted up. Okay, and again, think about what you're hearing. E chord sounds like this. E7, now listen to the difference. There's a little bit of a bite to it, a little bit of an edge to it, because it's this 5 of A, B, C, D, E, and so when it's on this finger, the 5th finger, it's going to really want to get back to the 1st finger, and then one of the methods it uses is by changing itself to a 7th chord, so instead of a regular E, it's a 7th E7, and then it almost has to go back to there. There's a couple other choices it can do, but for the most part, when you have a 7th chord on here, it really has to get back to this chord. Okay. All right. Let's just play the melody so you have a sense of how it goes. Okay. So the first thing is we're going to play down to the first repeat, obviously major 16, and then we're going to come all the way back to the top, and we're going to play down to the bottom, and then we're going to come back up to the top and play the top one last time. Okay, so it's 3 times on top, 1 time in the middle, and 1 time on the bottom. So let's just go, just the melody. The melody's not too hard here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2, 2, 2, 3, 0, 3, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3. Count, count, count. 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 0, 3, 3, 0, 2, 3. And then I have the whole chord there. I don't mean that there. 0, 2, 2, 0. So if you are reading the melody line at major 16, you can cross out that first chord, 2, 2, 0. You don't need that. Just the 0 up on top. That's a mistake. It's only been in there for years that I should fix. So then you would repeat. You come back through. Remember, when you repeat over here at measure 8, on the second time through, you're going to jump all the way to 17. So you might want to make yourself a note at the end of 17, right above where it says fine. The second time through, you go to 2 number 17. Okay, And that way you'll know, hey, I got to go past this fine 3 times. The second time it's going to be to number 17. Let's play it number 17 because I think you'll also recognize this part of it, hopefully. From 17, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, carry from 17. 1, 2, ready, play. I was messing that up a little bit because I was trying to do I was trying to cheat and not use the right fingers. So I would say probably for sure 2 and 4. You have to kind of make a decision. Am I going to use index and middle? Am I going to use index and pinky? Am I going to use middle and pinky? All those are real choices. Find out which one works the best for you. You're going to probably want to involve your pinky in some manner, so that you are not completely stretched crazy trying to make it, which is what I was trying to do. Is try to use my ring finger, and that was stupid. So probably I'm going to use my index and pinky. I think index and pinky may give you the best chance between those 2s and 4s to get it clean. Okay, so it's got that regal sensibility about it, and so your job this week is to turn that into a nice regal wedding song, like and call up your daughter-in-law and be like, hey, I got a song I'm going to play at your wedding. And she's like, well, I got married 16 years ago, and you're like, I know, but I haven't ever accepted you as my daughter-in-law yet, so I got to play this song for you. So you come on over to our house. Okay, tough acts, very slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just your regular A chord stretched out. Got to go all the way back to the top. Now jump to 17. up to the top last time through. Sing forever. I noticed that my arrangement here was when I was early on talking about claw picking, and I thought I needed to make it very clear on here what to do. But I think I'm going to make some adjustments to the sheet music to get rid of those couple places where you're missing some notes. It was a good idea at the time, but then I decided, nah, that's not how I want to teach this. So you'll end up learning how to do that just by arpeggio picking. I think that might be all. There's another missing too. So I'll probably make this. I'm going to try to update this sheet and repost it online. You can play it as is. It's just got a couple of things that these days I would arrange a teeny tiny bit differently. All right, so work on that this week, and it's beautiful. All right. So if I remember right, last week we played Bagatelle and Lesson 61. So I want to go straight to Ninou on the classical list, and let's see if we can't just close it out today. What do you think? You guys up for it? Let's see if we can just play all three of these, and then we will be done with RCM Book 0, and then we will start our new program, adding in an oldie but a goodie from Book 0 plus a new one from Book 1. And Book 1, I won't go straight down the list because there's way too much Renaissance stuff in the beginning, and Renaissance stuff is fine, but it's not after a while you're like, all right, it all kind of sounds the same, and I don't want that. Let's go to Ninou. All right, now, all right, okay, good. Ninou. I didn't play this before class, so I'm not sure how it goes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can tell, obviously, what he was working on here is don't move that finger. Just leave that on that note the entire time. That note, by the way, happens to be C. I do think it's worth your time to memorize this. On the 3rd fret here, top string is a G, next string is a C, and next string is an F. Okay? And so they're really handy. Three of your main notes are just hanging out, C, G, C, and F, just hanging out, being very convenient. But in this case, he wants you to hold on to that C through the whole thing. So really, it ends up feeling like a one-chord song, but you get all this melody and music out of it, so it's kind of cool. All right, there's Ninou. All right, then we have the Ukrainian Melody, which is honestly, guys, super disappointing song. In light of everything that's going on, I was hoping when we play this, it'd be like this amazing, like bring tears to your eyes kind of song. But this is not it. This is not the one that I was thinking would be like, oh, this would be so awesome. That's why that wasn't working. All right. So throughout this, it's going to be moving from an A minor to an E. There's a G chord that kind of jumps in here. But for the most part, you're going to be hanging around some pretty basic chording. Okay. Again, it's classical, so you don't need to chord at all. What you probably want to talk about on this one is really paying attention to what they're recommending for a fingering. I am, I am, I am. So you're supposed to be alternating your finger, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle throughout it. And then, of course, the big challenge is getting it up to the fourth string, third string, second string. So that's one of the things to be working on this one. A little bit challenging, I think, and I'll mess it up plenty as we go through here. The other thing is to pay attention to your dynamic marking. It starts off pianissimo, quiet, moves up to mezzo forte at measure 9, so that's normal playing volume, and then at 13 mezzo piano means quiet it down a little bit, and then make it loud again at 17, and then quiet it down again at 21. We don't work on dynamics very much in fingerstyle because we're just trying to get through the song, but in classical music it's a big deal, right? So you want to try to pay attention when you see those come through. Also note you have 3 notes in every measure. We're in 3/8 time. That's going to become a very familiar time frame. 3/8, 6/8, 9/8, 12/8. We'll be doing all of those. And so the way to think about them is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or as they get more complicated, you might think about it as 1 triplet, 1 triplet, 1 triplet. Because when we get into 6/8 and 9/8 and so on, it'll be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, and so you'll see that coming along. Anytime you're in groups of 3, my first thought is triplet, but in this case it's 3/8, and then we get a new measure. Probably just count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, from the top, quiet to begin with. Try to be thinking about alternating index and middle throughout. Okay, 1, 2, 3. After you go through and you're behave, right, and you're doing your index, middle. Also note that they want rest strokes here, so it should rest on the string above it. So obviously practice that, but then go back through with your thumb and play it like a normal human being. From the top, 1, 2, 3. non-existent at the end there, right? So as you see dynamic markings on guitar stuff, they'll get more and more and more over time as you are getting more and more competent and more capable. They'll start adding in more of that kind of stuff. And a lot of my music, I have a tendency just to ignore it because it's fingerstyle and I just want you to play as loud as you can. But on classical music, they want you to be very subtle and thoughtful about it. And so we'll be seeing lots more of that. And it is good to sort of give yourself, pianissimo means you can barely hear it, right? Mezzo piano, you can definitely hear it, but it's not in your face. Mezzo forte is basically normal playing, and forte is loud. And of course, guitar doesn't have the broad depth of dynamics that other instruments have. So you will see double F and triple F and all this nonsense on there. Guitar basically comes in mezzo forte for normal, forte for loud, and double F if you're really making the strings suffer. But that's about all you can get out of a guitar till you plug in, and then of course you have the full range. All right, let's wrap up Book 0. This is it. This is our moment, okay? And it's a huge disappointment that this is the last song in the book, but it is what it is. It's okay. It's fine. This is an exercise. It's not really it's not a song, I don't think. You're going to be probably thinking about chord shapes along here. This first measure, boy, that looks like a C chord, doesn't it? This next one looks awful much like a G7. The one after that looks exactly like a G chord. I'll probably update this piece of music and include the chords because it's really clear as you go through it. It's like, oh, if I hold the chord shape, I can play the whole measure. So I'll give you some advice of that as we go along. So C chord from the top. And this one's quarter note equals 52. That's a snail's pace, guys. And feel free to always play at snail's paces. It's fine. It's much better to play smoothly and cleanly at a slow pace than to, like I always do, get it sort of close at a faster pace. That's not the way to do it. From the top, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Put a G7 on. And then G chord. And then on to a C chord. A7, and then a D minor, and then a G chord again. C chord. So that's from my man Sagreras, and it's just very pleasant, but there's not a ton to the song. I will repost this with the chords on it, and then honestly, as the only one I'm kind of jipping, I'm not fully putting on is the G7. I'm just putting down the 1 there in measure 2. And so we played it super slow. You could definitely speed this one up and maybe end up with kind of a neat song. It can be, so if you speed it up, it will actually sound pretty cool. And it's a good one to practice your I, M, and A string, because you're really just anchoring those fingers on those 3. All right, so next week we will start Book 0. We'll have I'll I'll try to get the website updated earlier this week. So we'll have one song from book 0 and then one song from book 1. And then my plan will be to play all of book 1. And I, of course, do not have all of that typed up and all that. So we'll see if I can get to all of it. Been having a terrible struggle with time. And then... So those of you guys who've been around with me all this time will dig into all that. My intention is to go through all 8 books of the RCM program, and that'll, by the time we get there, we will be old, tired out people. But we'll go as fast as we can, right? And I think you'll end up being very fine guitar players. You're already, or if you're playing any of this, honestly, everything we played tonight requires a lot higher level skill set than typically is taught in most guitar programs, and so hopefully that's been kind of fun. All right, that's what I know. Good to see all you guys. Let's see, and then let's see. Always up for the classicals. Yeah, I am too. I just love it. Linda, good to see you. Sandy and Vic, and I know we had a pretty good crowd hanging out, and I don't know who all of you are, but I'm glad you're here. And have a good evening to all you guys, and I will see you for Guitar Orchestra on Tuesday. Please come, even though you are maybe feeling like your skill set maybe isn't quite there yet. That's the fastest way to get it there, is to grab the orchestra sheet music and play along with whatever you can do. And so, yeah, I probably would struggle if I had to sit down in the orchestra and play with them. So I get it, right? A little scary, a little awkward, but the best way to get better at it is to go do it. So have a wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Peace.